All right, guys, we are here with Lars Lindstrom from Sweden, the head man at Honda HRC. You just got off an incredible season. Obviously, last year was really good for you guys, and Chase battled the 450 championship down to the wire at the end. But now you are straight off of 250 East Coast champion Hunter Lawrence, 250 West Coast champion Jett Lawrence, 450 Supercross champion Chase Sexton. And you're the guy that's managing all three of those personalities, plus the personalities of your mechanics, who are also big personalities.
Yeah.
you're in charge of managing all those guys. But first off, congratulations. And what's it like just to be Lars Lindstrom right now, coming straight off of a very successful season, flip the switch, right back in outdoors?
I mean, I guess the first thing I would say is that what it feels like right now is just really lucky, to be honest, and lucky that I have such a talented group of riders. I mean, that is number one. And I didn't do that. That came before me with Eric Kehoe and Brandon Wilson and, other key players, I guess. But really, really on them. And then, just thankful that we were able to get through a season healthy, when a lot of people didn't. And just, dominate the 250 class, really. I mean, we put a lot of work into that bike. And a lot of time, a lot of money, and resources. So that feels great that it's paid off to do that. And then the real crown jewel is the 450 class championship that we've been waiting for 20 years, which I don't think that's something that we anticipated, and we don't we're not trying to celebrate that it's been 20 years like this big. We'd rather keep that one a little bit quiet, I think, because we really feel like we should have had more of them in there, because we put in an effort every single time that we went to the gate. So it feels really good to finally get it, though, and we're hoping that we can continue the success there and have more of those.
That's cool. So, I mean, what does it feel like? I was going to ask this question to the riders. This is a pre-race press conference. I'll ask the same question to you. 2 weeks ago, we're in Salt Lake City, less than 2 weeks from today. Now, Paula Raceway, Fox Raceway, Paula, this weekend. 2-week turnaround. What's that like for team manager?
Yeah, kind of a whirlwind. It's not a lot of time to celebrate the championship. Would have liked to have a little more time for that for everybody. All kinds of different things going on with, that's what you get with a team. Like being a team manager, I've noticed.
Yeah.
You get it from so many different angles. I think a lot of people probably think that all I am is dealing with the riders and then trying to motivate them to do this or whatever. I mean, that is just like the tip of the iceberg. That's the fun stuff, getting to hang out with the riders and talk to them. And there's so many other things that need to be done, and they're not always fun things, right? Like dealing with the trucks, dealing with the staff, hiring people, doing all those things, contracts and sponsors and things like that. And honestly, paying people. That is like the number one thing.
Yeah.
And being a big company, it's not easy to do that, So.
What do you mean paying people? Like expenses, or like making sure everybody gets their check on time, or what do you mean?
It's mainly like, okay, so bonuses.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to sign off on all of those, so I got to make sure that they're all correct.
You guys got a lot of bonuses.
Yeah. Luckily, everybody, and so not only that, but. Expenses for all the staff, that's it all funnels through me, and I have to go through and sign them all, like stuff like that people don't think that
Totally.
that I probably have to do.
Yeah.
Takes a ton of time, and I dealing with my right hand woman, Trish. Me and her, Trish Barbie. She signs out. She is like the, what do you call it? The accounts receivables or accounts payable or whatever. That kind of stuff takes so much time, and people probably don't realize that.
Yeah.
And I'm vendors and paying people like that, and you have to become a vendor. And I know that this is not what people want to hear. This is probably terrible.
This is an insight into a dream job.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to let you know what happens. It's not just all fun and games and or glitz and glamour, I guess.
Yeah.
But those kind of things between Supercross and now. And just all those things combined with getting, organizing so that we can be here and be properly done. It's just, there's so many things just going, But then the mechanics obviously have had the hardest job of trying to change everything over from Supercross to outdoors. I mean, there's not just, building new bikes and all these things like that, but they've spent this whole week, they put in a serious grind to get it done.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of hats off to them really for as much work as they've had to do. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with in the last 2 weeks. But I guess next question would be, what's it like to have Jett Lawrence and Chase Sexton? I mean, most of the talk is surrounding those two riders coming into this 450 championship. Obviously, Eli Tomac and Chase took it down to the wire last year, and there was nobody that could touch either of those two. And now we add in Jett Lawrence, which is the only rider seemingly that could touch Chase Sexton from the outside looking in before we get to Paula, before we see how they shake up at the first race. The talk is surrounding those two riders. So what's it like to manage that, the personalities? And I was going to ask these guys, I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet, but do they ever ride together on 450s, or are they so far completely separate, never having a test day together?
Well, I mean, to answer your first question, I guess I'll let you know in about 11 races how that's going to be.
Yeah.
Because even at Donations, when they rode, against each other, they were in two separate trucks. We had two, Team Australia and Team USA. And so far it's been no problem. But then again, we haven't had any incidents yet.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of expecting that to happen. I mean, I know that Chase is, if he's anything like he was last summer, he's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah.
But then again, Jett, on a 450 at Motocross the Nations was pretty incredible. So I'm expecting them to battle, and I'm sure things will happen, and I guess we'll get there when we get there. But for the most part, they get along good, and I think that hopefully Jett doesn't, annoy him too much with all the things that he's going to say and whatnot, and because if Jett can do that, just ask Hunter. And so we'll see how that goes. But I'm expecting there to be some, some tension there, here and there. It's a good problem to have, though. I mean, I really hope that if all the predictions come true, then they are battling, and we'll see how Dylan is. I think he'll be in there. But it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. Yeah. And then, what was your other question? I forgot.
I'm trying to think of what my other question was. At first was how those two would ride together, but also if they train together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. They haven't really trained together at all.
Because they ride at different training facilities. They each of them work with their dad as their primary trainer for the most part, which is a unique aspect.
Well, yeah, Johnny O'Mara for those guys on the training part of it.
Yeah.
But as far as riding coach and kind of like
day in and day out.
Bike setup too, Darren Lawrence helps a lot with the riders, with the boys. Yeah. And he's a good teacher, and the boys have a ton of respect. Like normally kids are like, they're like, yeah, whatever, Dad. Yeah. What do you know? But they really seem to listen really well to their dad, and
That's cool.
He has good input. And so does Keir Sexton. He's watched Chase ride his entire life. Yeah. So he knows just by watching him ride if he's comfortable or if he's having some issue or what part of the bike he thinks that it's coming from and things like that.
Yeah.
But they don't ride it with each other because Chase rides, a little bit northeast than they do at the 83 compound in Dade City. Yeah. So they haven't ridden a single time together on a 450 this off season.
Gotcha.
Or no off season, but
this year, yeah.
This year. So so it's kind of hard to compare. Like it's not like we can do lap times on hey, Jett did a 157 and
totally.
Chase did a 155. There's none of that right now. So it's completely unknown to us too. Cool. We just see him riding at that track and he looks incredible, and you see him riding on that track and he looks incredible. So I guess we'll find out this weekend.
That's cool. So what, I guess last question would be, like when you go to Florida, you spend a day with one group and then a day with the other group, or do you drive back and forth throughout the day, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we haven't had. No, the days that we have had that we've tested, usually it's like, hey, the Showa guy is going, the suspension guys are going, they're going to spend a day here or whatever. And now we kind of have two separate guys, but. It's tough because you send down the parts that you need to do suspension changes and everything, and those tools and parts and everything like that. There's not like a ton of sets of them, so you kind of have to like focus on, okay, we're gonna work on Hunter and Jett and Chance, and then we're gonna this day we're gonna go to Chase, or we're gonna go, hey, this week we're gonna do Chase, and next week we'll do them, or whatever it is. It's kind of a balancing act when it comes to that. But that's how it's been. Yeah, it's been like I'll spend the one day hanging out with Chase and doing that, and then the other one I'll drive back and forth or whatever.
That's cool.
But yeah, it works out that way. I mean, they both got their own facilities going and their own preferences of what they're doing, and right now it's working out really well. So I can't really say anything negative about it.
That's cool. All right. Well, thank you for your time. I'm excited to see how it works out. I'll be racing a Honda next week. I'm racing.
Oh, no way?
Yeah, I'm racing 4 races on 4 different bikes. I'm gonna do the first 3 in a row, and then I'll do Washougal. But this week in Yamaha, next week in Honda, and the weekend after that, Thunder Valley. You guys, a big question here. You guys run a little bit bigger tanks on your Hondas for outdoors because you guys twist the throttle a lot. I don't twist the throttle as much as your guys. Do you think I need a big tank, or could I get away with a stock thing?
You know what? Here's the thing I've learned about the last couple of years, or even when I was crew chief, was that during the week you could ride a track like Elsinore, or even here during the week, and it's not that rough.
Yeah.
And you're pinning it.
Yeah.
And if you're in half decent shape, on a 30+2, you could run out of gas with a stock tank.
Yeah.
And if you're Chase Sexton, you will run out of gas on a stock tank on that kind of. But as soon as you get to a real national track, real national prep, you're off the throttle a lot.
I'm chopping way more than them too.
Yeah. But you know, there's so much more like finesse and jumping and kind of in between all this stuff. It's not as much just laying into it.
Yeah.
And so we did tons of mileage, especially going into 21 because we had a new chassis.
Yeah.
And that was like a real eye opener because before the race, everybody was panicking that we're gonna not make it, even on our that we have like a titanium big tank. You know?
Yeah, you can see it's just a little bit bigger over the seat. You can see visually.
And it's like beautiful underneath and everything. It's like
cool.
super trick. But we also have a carbon fiber one from GPs that we have. We just have a couple of those in case we need them. And everybody was really panicking like we're going to need it. As soon as we got to a real race and we do the mileage always, we were like, fine.
Yeah.
Like, and even at the races like Redbud and Southwick, those are the two that we kind of worry about a little bit. This last couple of years, not even a problem. We could have ran the normal tank the whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, so that gives me confidence for Hangtown. I'm leaving the stock tank on. I'm not going to go find a big tank.
All right, cool. Yeah, should be all right.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
But just watching everybody roll. What's up, guys? Natural born race.